Hey church family, have you ever heard the expression, hindsight is always 20/20? In Exodus 14, we read these words. As Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and panicked when they saw the Egyptians overtaking them. They cried out to the Lord and they said to Moses, "Why did you bring us out here to die in the wilderness? Weren't there enough graves for us in Egypt? What have you done to us? It's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness." Again, hindsight is always 20/20. It's easier to look back at a situation with clarity, especially once we know the outcome. Maybe like that time your company downsized, and just like that, you lost your job. And in the months following, you may have been consumed with fear and anxiety. But now as you look back, you can see how that experience brought you closer to God, because the reality is that you had no choice but to trust Him to provide. And He did provide. Maybe that unexpected job loss gave you the push you needed to pursue that career change in a new industry. But in the moment, fear, panic, uncertainty, your future was anything but clear. As Moses led the children of Israel from captivity in Egypt, they faced a similar situation. Would they trust God to lead them into the unknown, or were they going to remain stuck in captivity in Egypt? Knowing the full story of how God miraculously provided and ultimately led them into the promised land, it's hard to imagine anyone wanting to remain in slavery. After all, when they were living as slaves, they were abused and mistreated, and had spent years crying out to God for help. But at the moment of testing, all they could see was a powerful army behind them and the Red Sea in front of them. At that moment, somehow the suffering at the hands of the Egyptians seemed more appealing to the Israelites than the unknown into which God was calling them to step. The good news is that Moses chose to trust God to make a way, and God did. The same God who demonstrated His power before Pharaoh in the form of 10 plagues was able to split the sea so the children of Israel could step into freedom. We've all had moments in life when we're confronted with a choice. Step into the unknown, or let fear keep you paralyzed. Is there an area right now in which God is asking you to follow Him into the unknown? If so, then I pray that you would know this. If God is asking you to move, He will make a way for you. You can be sure of that. Amen.